Hey there, hopping on super quick today to give you a little stat about something that I just learned, something I didn't even know about your body. So today I want to talk to you about mobility. So mobility is your ability to move a joint around a range of motion. And range of motion means typically, for example, my shoulder joint should be able to come I got my couch in the way here. So my shoulder joint should be able to come all the way around in a nice big circle, okay? Limited range of motion might look like this. Maybe I start to reach my arm up and I'm starting to feel pain or stiffness, or maybe I have to move it this way when it's really designed to come all the way up. Maybe I can't even get it back here because of pain or stiffness, or some kind of limitation. So that's what your mobility is. Just a quick little background on mobility is that the better we move, the better we feel. The better we feel, the more we do. So a lot of times people might not even start a fitness program because they feel like I can barely even move. Like I get up and I'm so stiff and I'm in pain so much of the time. I want to join a fitness program, or I want to start doing things, but I feel like I have to get out of this pain first. Well, adding mobility exercises into your routine is a great way to, maybe just give yourself a window of time to focus on your mobility so that you can move better. When you can move better, you can do more, and then you can start to knock off those goals. A lot of people get really discouraged with the fact that maybe they are starting what they would say so far behind, because maybe they're just working on stretching and flexibility and mobility, but you're starting, and eventually you will get beyond this point once you can start to move your move your joints in a proper range of motion. If my joint, for example, let's say my shoulder joint won't allow me to come all the way up, maybe I can only come so far. And then something causes me to have to move like this. Maybe a quick reaction. Maybe I fall on an outstretched arm and it's forced over my head. Well, if I'm so tight that just naturally I can only move this far, and then I'm forced into this position somehow through a fall or some, quick movement, then I'm going to really start to suffer with some major damage, right? We can start to tear things there. If our muscles are not flexible enough to get around the natural range of motion, we're setting ourselves up for a lot bigger injury than just stiffness and pain. One thing that I see a lot in the gym with women is shoulders. It just seems to be at, something that at a certain age, their shoulders start to really give them problems. Part of this is postural. I'm kind of digressing to tell you the thing about your body, but this is interesting little background that you'll want to know. Part of the problem is posture. Over time, we have spent time, in a forward posture, kind of a rounded position like this. Women come to me all the time and they're like, hi, that hump in the back of my neck. I don't want that hump. I know you all just sat up nice and straight, right? And what happens there, as we're kind of rounding forward, our shoulder is sort of our shoulder should be back in its socket. As we round our body forward, our shoulder starts to slide forward in the socket, and it's supposed to, if this is my shoulder socket, let's call it, and this is my arm bone, and it has a little head on it like this. It's supposed to sit here in my shoulder socket, nice and snug, and it's supposed to be able to move around, right, when I'm doing this, okay? If I have a forward posture, I'm going to turn this aside. If I have a forward posture and I've been slumped forward and my shoulder, my arm bone starts to slide forward because I live in this rounded position, then I'm going to run into a problem if I'm like this, I can't move as well in this joint because I'm stuck up against the edge of the socket, right? So a lot of times this is a postural issue, meaning that these muscles back here, your postural muscles have gotten weak, the shoulder is shifted forward, and now we're running into impingement, which is just like a kind of a pinching of some nerves, of some muscle, soft tissue and whatnot, okay? So that's just one example of what I see quite a bit. When we can get you into a place where you can start to move your joints in a proper range of motion, your pain will go away, hopefully, unless you already have some kind of soft tissue tear. But once we start adding mobility into your fitness routine, you can eliminate a lot of the need in the future potentially for having a soft tissue issue, meaning like a tendon or a ligament issue. So just by putting things back in place and slowly working those joints into the proper amount of motion, you're going to eliminate your propensity for injury a huge amount. So this is the little tidbit. actually, before I give you the tidbit, I want to give you an example of a range of motion or a muscle issue causing pain. So I was having this problem doing pull-ups. I couldn't get my arms over my head. This one I could not hang from. And I started to get really tight in the back. And mostly it was probably from some weak postural muscles that I wasn't opening up. So like I described to you, my shoulder was shifting forward. So I started noticing that I was just getting all of this tightness all around. So I stopped doing the hanging exercises and pull-ups and things like that and started focusing more on releasing the muscles, which we call self-myofascial release. That's when you take like a foam roller or a trigger point ball and you roll it in here and you'll find all of these super tender spots. Most of us could take a trigger point ball or like a lacrosse ball or tennis ball, roll it around our body and be like, right? Find lots of what we call trigger points. So I began to roll my lats out because I just was feeling tight. There wasn't a lot of pain there. Most of the pain was right here in the shoulder. But as soon as I released those lats, it allowed my posture to change a bit and it totally took care of the shoulder pain. Kind of crazy. But that's one example of how working with your soft tissue, rather than pushing through a workout, but taking some time to work on your range of motion will prevent you from having further injury. Had I continued to push it, I most likely would have torn something in that shoulder because it wasn't set up for optimal movement. Then I would add, some crazy movement, push up or pull up to it, and I would put it in a very compromised position and possibly tear it. So the tidbit, as I've been studying up on some mobility, I learned that there is when you want to say, well, how much mobility work should I, which when I say mobility work, I mean stretching, that myofascial release with the trigger point ball or with your foam roller, and not just static hold stretching. A static hold stretching is like this. I'm stretching across my body. I'm holding it for a while. Mobility work is kind of like movement through stretching. So maybe I'm taking it through these different ranges of motion and doing different things with it. Maybe I'm moving the joint, but I'm not forcing the joint, okay? So that's what we typically call mobility, is kind of these patterns of movement that are like stretches, but they're actually stretching through movement, okay? So a ratio to know how much mobility to add, I was shocked by this, and I'm definitely not doing enough, it's an age to time ratio. So it's like a percentage of your exercise time that should be spent on mobility is in direct relationship to your age. So that means if you are 40 years old, you should be spending 40% of your exercise time on mobility. At 50 years old, I should be spending 50% of my exercise time on mobility. I can definitely tell you that's not happening. So this could mean elongating your workout time. Maybe I really want to get a 45-minute good hard workout, so maybe I need to add 45 minutes of mobility at a different time of day, or a little bit more before my workout and a little bit more after my workout, and then maybe a short stretch at the end of the day. So I thought that statistic was very eye-opening. One, it was really good to know because I honestly never knew how much time to be. A lot of times will just take a chunk of time and kind of move until I feel I can start to hear things kind of popping without pain. And I just feel like the pain itself in the joints is subsiding. But yeah, I did not know about that direct relationship with your age to mobility. That's one way of thinking, but it really does put in perspective how much more time we should, at our age, we should be spending on mobility so that we can start to move with less pain. The less pain we're in, the less chance for injury, the better we feel. I mean, how many times have you gotten off the floor? I can, as soon as I get up from this chair, because I've been working at my computer for a while, I'm definitely going to be stiff and I'm going to be hobbling, and I know it's going to be in my ankles. I know it's going to be in my hips. And it makes me feel like an old lady, and it doesn't feel good. Like, it feels somewhat painful because it's so stiff. Or when you're in a long car ride and you get out and you have to move really slow. There's just something about that makes us feel older than we are. Then we act older than we are, right? We don't participate in the things that we might normally participate in. So consider adding mobility into your routine. Maybe you can't get, if you're 50, maybe you can't get 50% of your time. But if you start with 10 or 15 minutes, it's going to make a huge difference in how you feel. And take note of how you feel after you do your flexibility work, because you definitely will be like, okay, I definitely need more of that. I highly recommend scheduling it into your day, because if you're anything like me, I have the best of intentions and I know how great I feel after I do mobility work, but I have not made it a priority until I do it, and then I feel great. I'm like, gosh, I need to make this a priority. So I want to tell you about a program that we are starting called Mobility Fit. We start this on September 20th. The program will be Mondays and Fridays at 10:15 a.m. With Mobility Fit, this is what we're going to focus on. We're going to go 6-week program of just mobility work. We're going to be teaching you how to engage your postural muscles. We're going to teach you how to use the foam roller and use the tools. We have stretch straps, lacrosse balls, lots of different little self-myofascial release tools that we'll use. Then we will run you in each class is about an hour, and we about 55 minutes. We'll run you through a series of what we might call sequences or flows. Not so much like yoga necessarily. It's just stretching through movement exercises. You'll be amazed. We're also going to do some fit tests at the beginning to kind of give you an idea of your improvement over the course of 6 weeks. So we have 2 sessions right now in the mornings, 10:15 on Mondays and Fridays, and you can join 1 or 2, so you can join us for 1 day a week or 2 days a week. We also have some other sessions on our regular small group training sessions that are called HIIT Core and Mobility sessions that will include a good chunk of mobility. We'll be doing about 20 minutes of mobility at the beginning of those classes, and then we will do some high intensity interval training, short spurts, which you can always modify. And then we do about 20 minutes of core work. So a lot of solid core and posture work that will complement that mobility work. Those are, when are those? Those are those are Wednesdays at 4:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. and Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. So on Wednesdays, we have a good chunk of mobility day. So if you would like to join us for that, I'm going to leave you a link in the comments. You can sign up for the 6-week chunk just right there from that link. Go to the webpage and sign up, and we will send you everything that you need. What we are going to be including with this little bundle, we bundled up some cool things that we have. We're going to give you our foam rolling guide. We're going to give you our Beat the Stress guide. And we're also going to give you access to our 30-day we call it the 30 Days of Bendy program. So you can come and do your mobility work with us at the gym, learn how to move your body properly and safely. And then we give you 30 videos, short videos that you can do at home on your off workout days so that you can fill in the blanks. So you can really hit a goal of really focusing on your mobility for 6 weeks. And of course, after that, you're going to feel so great that you want to continue on. So that is all what the Mobility Fit program includes. This is a brand new program for us. A lot of our clients have been asking for more stretching and more flexibility work. And so we've started to incorporate that into our classes, like the HIIT Core Mobility class. And then we really want to teach them how to prevent injury and how to move properly and how to do this mobility work. So that's what the 6-week, 55-minute Mobility Fit sessions are all about. We would love to have you join us, but if you don't, I do want you to take that little piece of information about taking your age and incorporating that into that percentage of your fitness program into mobility work. Wow, I've been talking too much today. All right, you guys, have a great day. We'll talk soon.